The morning sun spilled across the glass doors of Westline Bank as a thin, trembling woman stepped inside, clutching a faded cloth purse to her chest. Her name was Maribel Rowan, and her eyes carried the exhaustion of someone who had lived far too long in the shadow of loss. She hesitated near the entrance, staring at the long line, her breathing slow and uneven, as though every inhale required permission from the world around her. Behind her, a sharply dressed man in a navy suit brushed past with the entitled air of someone who believed the world was made for him. Grant Lewiston, a real estate millionaire known in town for his arrogance masked behind empty philanthropic smiles, gave Maribel a scoff as he passed, muttering under his breath about holding up the line. Before we go further, if you believe kindness, humility, and second chances still matter in this world, please like, comment, share, and subscribe to Good Soul. It truly helps stories like these reach more hearts. Maribel moved slowly toward the teller desks, gripping the edge for support. She hadn't slept in days. Her landlord had taped an eviction notice on her door that morning, and she had no one left in her life to turn to. Her husband had died 3 years earlier, her son had drifted away to another city chasing work, leaving only rare messages without warmth or certainty. The world felt impossibly heavy, and the numbers in her bank account haunted her like ghosts she didn't want to face. Today, she was here for one thing: clarity. She simply wanted to confirm what little money she had left before deciding whether she would sleep on a friend's sofa or spend the night wandering a park bench. Grant, meanwhile, stood 2 customers ahead of her, loudly boasting on his phone about his upcoming deal, his voice echoing through the marble-floored lobby. When he finally reached the teller, he tossed his checkbook down like a king offering scraps. "Make it quick," he snapped. "I'm late for a meeting." The teller nodded politely, smiling despite the disdain thrown her way. Maribel watched from behind, wondering how people found the courage to treat others so casually, so carelessly. When Maribel reached the counter, her voice quivered as she greeted the teller, Anika, a warm-eyed woman who immediately sensed the weight in Maribel's posture. Maribel handed over her battered debit card and whispered, barely audible, I just want to see my balance." Her hands shook, and her gaze stayed fixed on the counter, bracing herself for the blow she had feared for weeks. Grant, who had finished his transaction, lingered at the side desk to fill out paperwork. He glanced over at Maribel and gave a soft, mocking laugh. "Checking your fortune," he murmured sarcastically, loud enough for others to hear. "Be careful, zeros can be depressing at your age." There was a moment of stillness. Anika shot him a stern look but said nothing. Maribel simply lowered her eyes, absorbing the humiliation without protest. She had grown used to being invisible, used to being dismissed as someone who no longer mattered in a world obsessed with success and speed. But then something happened. As Anika typed Maribel's information, her eyes widened. She blinked twice, looked again, then gently turned the screen toward Maribel. "Ma'am, you need to see this." Maribel leaned in, unsure, her heart pounding as though trying to protect her from the truth. There, on the screen, was a number that didn't make sense. Not a few hundred. Not a few thousand. But $284,931.20. Grant froze mid-signature. The pen slipped from his hand. The bank lobby fell strangely quiet as Maribel stared, unable to speak, the world tilting around her. No, that can't be mine," she whispered. But Anika nodded. "It's yours. It was deposited last night." Tears filled Maribel's eyes as realization crashed into her like a sunrise breaking through a storm. The account associated with her late husband's small construction business had been under legal review for years, tangled in insurance claims and unsettled partnerships. She had nearly forgotten it existed, assuming there would be nothing left after all the disputes. But the final settlement had gone through, and the money had found its way home. Maribel covered her mouth, shaking with relief, disbelief, and overwhelming gratitude. For the first time in years, she felt the crushing weight on her chest lift. She wasn't losing her home. She wasn't running out of options. She wasn't alone in the world. She had been held up by grace she didn't expect, and it arrived exactly when she had reached her breaking point. Grant, pale and stunned, stepped closer. His arrogance melted into embarrassment, then into something even more unfamiliar, humility. He stammered an apology, but Maribel simply nodded, not out of forgiveness, but because holding on to bitterness was a luxury she could no longer afford. Her heart was light, and she walked out of the bank with a posture no longer bent by fear. If this moment touched your heart even a little, please like, share, and comment to help this story reach someone who needs hope today. Before we end, please comment the word blessings if you believe unexpected miracles still happen in real life. And with the sunlight warming her face, Maribel stepped back into the day, no longer invisible, no longer afraid, and finally free.